time, he had given us some updated information about Sami Hamdi. But British journalist Sami Hamdi is finally heading home. You recall Sami Hamdi was here in South Africa, was it, a few months back, finally heading home after more than 2 weeks in ICE custody. This is out in the US. Detained not for a crime, but for speaking out on Palestinian human rights. And now joining us to discuss the broader implications of this case is Rashad Nurzai, Development and Special Projects Director at the Council on American Islamic Relations, or CAIR. And this is out of the Sacramento Valley, Central California. Now, today we'll explore issues of free speech, political retaliation, which very likely that's exactly what we've seen, not just against Sami Hamdi as per se as an individual, but many people who have chosen to speak out against the political, not norm, but the political exception out there in the US. And of course, the treatment of civil detainees. Joining us live this evening, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, Brother Rashad Nurzai.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
And Jazakumullah khairan, and shukran to you, Brother Rashad, for joining us your afternoon and our evening here in South Africa. Brother Rashad, you were with Sami when the arrest was made. I mean, could you walk us through what happened from the moment Sami Hamdi was stopped at the San Francisco International Airport right up until his release?
Yes, absolutely. And assalamu alaikum again to you and your audience. In fact, I just wanted to take you back for a moment. We were planning Sami's visit here while he was in South Africa for that tour. So I saw the work he did there. It was amazing. What an amazing community. Yes, it's correct. He was out here visiting us in California in our Sacramento Valley, Central California office. We held 2 events with him that week, one on the Wednesday and then our main banquet on the Saturday nights. And it was after that banquet that in the morning when he took off to travel to Florida for the next banquet that he was scheduled for on the Sunday, that he was detained by ICE officials. And from his own description, after I spoke to him, he mentioned that, individuals showed up, not identifying themselves, just telling him that they have to come with him. And multiple individuals showed up at once and asked him to enter a car. So it's similar, if you can imagine, even though we haven't seen the video, but many of us have seen the videos of Rumaysa Ozturk and Mahmoud Khalil, and we saw how they were treated. And in effect, we heard that there was something similar from Sami himself.
ICE and of course airport officials as well really find the need to justify any detention. But has this been the case? Has ICE attempted to afford some form of an explanation? Why have they detained Sami Hamdi? I mean, have they put out some sort of a brief, or have they even briefed him in some form of an official document that these are the reasons behind your detention? And of course, we've heard the allegation of a visa overstay. Your response to that, Brother Rashad?
No, I'm glad actually that you brought up this question. Initially, no, they didn't present any, claim or any even case. Sadly to say, multiple online trolls and these figures that have been driving this, Israel first agenda and this anti-Palestinian agenda for several years now, these individuals started boasting about his detention. Even before any news was reported or even before he had reached his family. And so no ICE nor the State Department had provided any initial reasons. Subsequently, over the last couple of weeks, they did make the claim that they clarified that his visa had been revoked several days prior to that without informing him, and then claimed that they had picked him up because of that. However, they had publicly, and tweeted about the fact that making many other allegations against him. So on one hand, they're telling the public, they're smearing his name, they're making other allegations against him, that he's done other wrongdoings. And yet in their actual brief in the courts, they merely say that he is traveling without a valid visa. And this type of, rhetoric is often common, what we see. Because for them, it matters less, what the actual case against him is, but rather that they want to publicly smear him. And that's exactly what they tried to do in this case. But thankfully, we know exactly what Sami's words are and what his positions are. So this is where it stands now. and I can get into a little bit more of what the results of that was in the last 2 weeks.
Hmm. Alhamdulillah, brother Sami Hamdi back, with his family or on the journey itself, and he physically is safe and he's out of that current ordeal, Alhamdulillah. But it also is a test of the resolve of the community itself. I mean, you had civil rights groups like CAIR California, other groups as well, not necessarily Muslim based, but groups that were, of course, concerned about freedom of speech and concerned about the rights of Palestinians and other disenfranchised communities. They rallied together. I mean, you guys saw support from sometimes quarters that you would not actually see support from. You wouldn't have an opportunity to communicate with such individuals. This, in many ways, may be the silver lining at the edge of a dark cloud, where you see the rallying of groups and the rallying of individuals. I mean, describe that, the show of solidarity amongst those that are still out there defending civil liberties in the US.
I'm so happy you mentioned that, and that's an excellent point. In all of this, right, in the illegal, the unjust detention, the effectively kidnapping of an individual or making individual disappear and requiring the family to spend time trying to find where this individual might be. And many can go watch the other interviews with his family, with his wife, to hear, the experience that they had. But across that, very consistently, so, alhamdulillah, the CAIR California team, the team at MLFA, Muslim Legal Fund of America, and the legal team of Hassan Ahmed himself all came together quickly to act, and the community mobilized very quickly around this. Because Sami is someone that is not just a local figure. He's not just a community's public speaker and journalist, but rather he's been an international speaker and a journalist on this issue in particular. And so from, diverse communities, from diverse organizations and multiple media outlets, including mainstream media and the alternative media outlets on digital platforms, all of them had immediate reports about this detention, recognizing that it was in the same pattern of others, an attempt for the government to detain an individual, smear that individual, try to make their life difficult, to suppress their free speech, not because of any crime they had committed, but merely because their speech was against the state of Israel. Their speech was against Zionism. Their speech was advocating for human rights for Palestinians. And that's clearly what happened in this case. But you're right, the silver lining, that community recognized that and spoke very publicly about that, never accepting those baseless claims and those lies that were perpetrated on social media and other platforms about him.
Mm. Brother Rashad Nurzay, shukran jazakumullah khairan for joining us for this brief conversation, updating us on matters related to Sami Hamdi, and of course, of greater importance to us, the role of civil liberties, or the suppression, should I say, of civil liberties out there in the US, and the fight against it, the pushback against this injustice that continues to take place. We wish you the best, you guys the best out there in the US in the fight of the good fight. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Ameen. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And thank you all for, being one of the additional components of this speaking truth and bringing this case forward, and the other wonderful work that you do. Thank you as well. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, Brother Rashad Nurzay, joining us out of California, updating us on matters related to the Sami Hamdi case. ICE detention